Alrighty, g'day, welcome back to another episode of Blokes and Their Balls here with the crew. Saturday morning, changing it up. We had to get a little bit flexy with the schedule this week. So I'm going to introduce the panel of experts, the brains behind Blokes and Their Balls. Obviously yours truly, the captain of the ship, the man in charge. To my left, we call him the Duffman. His phone's just buzzing in the pod. No respect.
Amateur hour.
No respect for what we do here. He's today's MVP.
Yeah.
You know, it's Saturday morning. Most people are having a sleep in. He was out of the house at 5:45 to get down here for a pod. It's Mr. Liam Duffy.
Good morning, boys. I was going to say I'm on a bit of a Stephen A. Smith vibe, but after my phone went off, maybe not.
Yeah.
It seems like something they do, to be honest.
Back to the rookie status, yeah. To my right, to your left, the resident sports guy. I have a lot to talk about. Wellsy, a.k.a. The Undertaker. You may know him as Jed Wells.
Morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you listen to it. Let's have some fun.
Let's go.
How we doing, boys?
It's been weird because we've had a break. We had a break week. We had a bye week. You know, a bye week. And, you know, bye week means things can't go wrong. It's 2 points, right? It's 2 points. It's guaranteed 2. But you kind of lose a little bit of team continuity in that 2 weeks sometimes.
You do.
Was it 2 weeks or 1 week?
No, it's 2. We're back up. We had a week break, so it's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
Okay, yeah. So here we are to talk about all things ball related. The nice small balls that fit in your hand. The large ones that are thrown from end to end of a football field. The ones that are dunked, shot, and just played around with on course. We're here to talk about it all. What's been happening, Jed? Run us through the week.
Well, we'll start with NFL. You talked about us having a bye week. A team I think that needs a bye week are the Rams. I'm going straight in for it. I think they've lost 4 in a row now.
It hurts. And it hurts because there's been so much money and so much effort spent into like getting the last pieces of this team. But we've said it at stages throughout this year, right? Like there were those moments in big games where maybe Matt Stafford didn't look like he was piecing things together. There's, you know, the Stafford Street omen that we all know too well from many weeks ago, and I'm starting to worry that maybe Duffman's omen, the crystal ball, you know, the spirit world speaking to him was actually true. Because 4 losses on the trot really hurts. Was what no win November is what you say, and you know that's not good for any team. I think especially at this point in the season, like usually this is when the chemistry's there and you're starting to piece things together. And our competition, like we had the Packers, they're a good side, but really we haven't had that strong a competition that it's like we should have won some of those games.
Yeah.
You know, like we should have at least come away with 2 or 3 wins from this period. So I'm a little bit worried for the Rams. Don't know what's around the corner, but I hope it's fucking better than this last month.
Yeah, like you were saying, it seems like the worst time of the season to start a skid. Like, you sort of think if it starts right at the end, you can kind of pull it together for playoffs. But this is where you really want to be solidifying yourself as a contender, as a top seed, that sort of thing. And that's the other thing. You start dropping now. In the first round, you're going to face those harder teams. You don't get maybe like a sort of an easy team, a little bit of a walkthrough.
I think the thing is, and we've spoken about this with other teams, we spoke about this with the Chiefs a while ago too. For a team that was number 1 defensively last year, the Rams, this year they're like 12th in the league, right? Which is not good.
And you look at who they picked up in that time.
Yeah, like
and
Von
they
Miller.
should be up there still.
The thing for me is though, maybe losing some of the pieces, like we lost 2 of our defensive players from last year, maybe losing some of the pieces of the puzzle. I think we've got a new defensive coordinator. I may be wrong, but I'm 99.9% sure we had a new defensive coordinator at the start of season. There's something not right there because we're letting in big points every game.
Yeah.
Every game, we let in big numbers. That puts so much pressure on Matt Stafford that almost every drive, they've got to score points.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, when you're under that pressure as a QB, it makes it really tough. Where if you go to us last year, a team who still respectfully made the playoffs and went down to Green Bay, number 1 defense, a fucking dog shit quarterback in Jared Goff. And I actually thought John Wolford was playing alright footy. Like he come on and played really well for us in stages there last year. But when I look back at that, I'm like, well, we were letting in so little points. even if the quarterback wasn't performing, he didn't need to score every drive.
Yeah.
I think we need to get that defensive continuity back again, and I don't know whether that's the defensive coordinator looking at the way that they're running plays this year. I don't know whether that's them looking at what we're missing and the pieces of the puzzle we're missing from last season and how we rectify that. But, you know, we can't keep letting that many points in because, unfortunately, we're just not scoring them at the moment.
Yeah. You talk about it hurt me too. I'm the one that picked Stafford as my mid-season MVP.
Yeah.
Has not shown me a single thing since then to justify it. Copped a lot of hate on that from social, and it's starting to look like everyone was right. So,
also, on the Rams,
give that up.
I think every single person in the NFL who doesn't like the Rams is cheering about them losing. Like, they've gone out, they've bought so many players, been labelled the dream team, the super team, and then they lose 4 straight.
Yeah. Right.
Is it the
Wow.
The whole chair's moved. Is it the OBJ curse?
Fuck.
It could be.
That's another thing. Like,
he's gone in there with a bit of a weird vibe.
I don't know.
He's tried to get the Packers
chemistry's
jersey.
out.
That was hilarious. Did you see that?
What?
Beckham trying to get Devontae Adams' jersey, and he's like, "Nah, go get Cooper Kupp because that's who you chose to play with instead of me or something."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's fucking a bit spicy, isn't it?
I think it was said pretty.
That.
I think it was pretty tongue in cheek. Like, I don't think he actually denied him, but.
Well, he didn't give him the jersey, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was just taking the piss.
Yeah, true. Nah, the fucking no.
Maybe.
Fuck, that's funny.
Bit of spice there. I don't know. Like, I think sometimes when you're a super team, there's more pressure than reward that comes with it.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're seeing that at the Lakers this year. I know we're jumping forward to basketball there, but a team that bought so many players, built this team, the Nets done it too, and they've both struggled. It's actually hard to bring a team of superstars together and create chemistry. And look, we've done it mid-season, which doesn't help. You know, I think there's 3 games there or 2 games there for OBJ now. I think 3. 4 games for Von Miller. But it's still not enough to bring a team together, and I just hope they figure it out later in the season.
Yeah.
And have a bit of a run to the finals. But unfortunately, if this continues, maybe you don't make playoffs. You know what I mean? So our record doesn't look all that good right now. So we'll see. But hopefully brighter weeks ahead for the Rams.
Well, I think the thing there is it's just about meeting expectations. Like, if you start being like, this team's going to be incredible, play the best ever, then every time they play mediocre or play okay, they're not playing how they're meant to be. So it's kind of a moral victory. And then if they play all pistons firing, look incredible, play so good, that's still everyone being like, that's what you're meant to do. It's not like, wow, that was incredible. It's like, yeah, that's what we expected. So you don't really get those sort of big feel-good moments because every victory is either you're meant to do that or you still didn't play very good.
So I just checked the schedule heading into this week.
This will be good.
Do you know who the Rams have?
No.
Cards, is it? No. Next week.
It's the Jags.
Oh, that'll be alright then. Hopefully.
If we don't win that game, I'm really starting to panic.
If you don't win that game, I'll just be off the boat.
Yeah. If we don't win that game, I start to do a duff and start to try and reason with why I could be supportive of another state.
Chiefs fans all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of them, the Chiefs, I think, have taken all of your negative energy and turned it into their positive. Yeah. They've won 4 in a row. I think they're down the Cowboys. They're just looking good, man. I think they've hit it at the right time.
Can I just stop you there?
Okay.
Can I stop you there? There's some negative energy at the start of our season, right? I said to you guys, the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs right now. But if I remember correctly, there was something in the air about my mid-season predictions where I said, Chiefs are going to make it to Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that they've taken my positive energy. I've got a feeling that my negative energy was actually weighing them down all start of the season. And then they heard the pod last week and Patty Mahomes said, hey boys, he's backing us now. The cap's with us. And all of a sudden things have changed. It's been a magic turnaround. But good on them, man. And that's what superstar teams do.
Yeah.
They figure it out. And that's why the Rams worry me, because they're not figuring it out right now. And I almost feel like it's actually better to go from a losing start of season to a winning end of season.
Yeah. Because
you've proven to yourself as a team you can go through the dirt. It's very hard to turn it around late in the season when you've been good and all of a sudden you've had a dirt couple of weeks. So Chiefs' trajectory looks really good heading into playoffs.
It's one of those things, you have to just figure out what the value of each single game is. Like, you got 17, how many can you afford to sort of punt on?
Yeah.
How many can you just chill on and still sort of feel good coming into it?
Yeah.
Like obviously, you don't want to be fucking 0-10 like Detroit are, but you lose 3 of your first 5 or something. Is that really a bad start, or are you still finding your legs, that sort of thing?
Yeah. You just said something there, 0-10 for Detroit. Surely they're getting number 1 draft pick and picking a QB.
You'd hope so. Goff still hasn't won outside of fucking LA.
Fuck, that's
Shocking.
bad. That's so bad.
I saw a post actually last night, it was SB Nation or something, put together this like 50-step plan of how if each one of these things happened, Detroit can still make the playoffs. Like I think they had to win all their games, and this different selection of teams had to win and lose and stuff. And it was like, yeah, it's still possible, but it's like a 0.0001 chance or something.
I love that as a fan, like when you're supporting a shit team and it gets to the end of the season and you're looking at all the probabilities and like you're watching every game like these guys need to win by this many points and this team needs to lose by this many points and we need to win by this many points. Oh fuck, we're down, we need to score 4 touchdowns before, like it's like you start to get so fucking calculated about it.
Relying on another team just fucking
that's
sucks.
the worst feeling as a fan.
The Bucks and Tom Brady are rolling still. I honestly think Brady's probably edging towards an MVP now. Like, I think I'm going to join you boys on that shift that he just continues to look so dominant into his 60th year in the league.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop, does he? And I don't know, they're just it's the same thing, championship caliber team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the champs for a reason. Their team hasn't changed. Like, they'll piece things together and they'll only get better as the season moves on, I think. And that's scary for those teams that are struggling a little bit at the moment at the top. So the Bucks, man, they're fucking rolling with some real momentum.
They have lost a few guys. I don't know if you guys seen, but Antonio Brown, a few other dudes faked their vaccine stuff.
Week.
We'll chat about that a bit later in one of our later segments. But
I think the Bucks are one of those teams that like they can deal with those injuries though.
Yeah.
Because of the caliber of the team. Like the I don't know, the Titans when they lose Derrick Henry. That's their star guy. Yeah. They need him. But the Bucks, they can just keep going.
The only guy that they can't afford to lose is
Brady.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
kind of goes
Tom goes.
And he's too smart to get injured anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Tell you what though, did you see that little fucking run from him this week? And he got up and he was fucking getting lithy, He was like, fucking like
First time he's run in 5 years.
And then in the press conference, the guy was like, how'd you feel after that 10-yard run? He was like, no, it was 11 yards.
I actually love his humour, He's got really good humour.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think it was over last week, the story that came out that some random high school basketball team in America ended up with him on FaceTime. Yeah. Just the coolest thing ever.
How does that dial the wrong number by like one number? Yeah. It's Tom Brady.
They're trying to add their mate to a group chat, and suddenly it's this guy being... Because it was one of their... I think it was the cornerback they originally got, and he's being like, yeah, I'm the Bucks cornerback, and the boy's like, nah, piss off, no, you're not, and he just FaceTimes him, like, oh, shit, it actually is.
That's so fucking
just awesome.
That's so good.
We talked about Green Bay a little bit already, but just wanted to touch on this. I don't know if you guys saw it. Bit of a viral moment where Aaron Rodgers was just showing his feet off on the Zoom cam after he said he broke his toe. No. What's fucking going on with him? He's just gone off the deep end in like 4 weeks. Like, start of the season, he was like a bit contentious. Maybe he was going to leave. He was like trying to be the host of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
3 months on, he's like a fucking COVID anti-vaxxer who's showing his feet on live streams.
Yeah.
Like, it comes at you quick.
It's the slippery slide of your last years in the NFL, right? So, who knows? Maybe he makes an OnlyFans. Feet only.
See, Liz Cambridge has one now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Is that the one that was with Drake? Was it? Someone else, not.
Huh?
Yeah, Liz was hanging out with Drake, wasn't she?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, then yeah, it is.
Yeah, she loved that Drake glizzy.
We had the Thanksgiving game, Bears versus Lions, as it is every year. I don't know why the NFL subjects us all to this. I don't think anyone deserves it.
That hurts. As a fan of football in America on Thanksgiving, you can imagine just wanting to sit down and watch a good game of football.
Yep.
They give you that. And then mum burns the fucking turkey. You're like, can this day get any worse?
I'm going to say it. We need to bring Thanksgiving to Australia just for the food. Like,
just for the
every
food.
Year on Twitter, man, all my like favourite riders, all these athletes, like, here's my plate, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck, I would give anything to be over there eating that shit.
Yeah,
it just looks unreal.
Right now, yeah.
But yeah, Bears get the win. Not much to talk about. It was against the Lions. Like, fuck. Like I said,
Doesn't
Lions.
Doesn't even count.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
And then to round us off, Adrian Peterson was released from with the Titans that they signed him for like 5 minutes.
No,
he was with someone.
Yes, he was with the Titans, and then he got signed by the Seahawks.
Yeah, so he's joined Seattle now in what was called by one of their front office people a win now move, which I would argue it's a win 8 years ago move.
I agree.
I don't know what the fuck they thought that was going to help.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they've also made a play to fucking get Doc and Marty McFly to fucking go back in time and use Adrian Peterson effectively, because that just does not feel like a smart trade.
Did he play for the Titans? Did he have a couple
he
games?
had a couple
played
of
a few games, but obviously not good because he's 50.
I think he was just in a rotation with their other running back.
But yeah, I don't know. Seattle just sort of... I think they're too scared to admit that their window for this year at least is over. Like, they're still hanging on to the fact that, like, no, we're still going to be good. But, like, we talked about it 5 weeks ago. If Wilson's out for a month, you're a fringe playoff team as it is.
Yeah, isn't it funny, like, looking back on these years where the Seahawks were at the Super Bowl and they had a couple of really dominant years there. Like, Russ was great. That was when they had Marshall.
Marshall, like my king.
That guy's fucking beast mode. You know, he deserves that name. And they just, I don't know, it's just something about the Seahawks now. They're in a tough division, like with the Cards and the Rams ahead of them. And even like San Fran can pull shit together too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're always a smoky. Like they were a good team for so long. You know, Jimmy Kittle, you know, when Jimmy G plays good, he plays good.
Once a year.
Who knows? Maybe that's a game where you come up against them. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like they're in a really tough division, and unfortunately, as handsome and fucking fit as DK Metcalf is, he can't carry that team.
No. So yeah, weird few weeks of NFL. We were sort of saying we missed 2 weeks. It didn't feel like that much really happened.
Yeah.
Sure, we've missed stuff because we're amateurs, but I don't know. I was sort of expecting to come in here, spend a whole hour on all these storylines, but
yeah, it's kind of been flat, hasn't it?
Everyone just went about their business for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The games were pretty predictable.
Yeah.
It's business as usual.
It was really respectful 2 weeks in the NFL.
I think there was only one person that got like arrested for DV or something. You know,
yeah.
Good record.
That's good for that week, yeah. Fucking hell.
Jumping into a bit of NBA now, and of course the top story is the Pheonix Suns have won 18 straight. That's a franchise record for them after... I think they lost their first 3. People were a bit iffy on them, but they've just nuked them. Duff said early that we weren't talking about him enough, and he was right.
And then the next week, like the last few days, all I've seen, Suns 18 in a row.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because literally I remember thinking, fuck, Duff's right.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen much press on the Pheonix Suns. They've flown under the radar, and then my feed was full.
Yeah.
My feed was fucking full. All I seen was Devin Booker, CP3 videos, photos, how many wins are on the trot, who they've beat, and I'm like, fuck, these guys are the real deal this year.
Yeah. Well, I think I said to you when you said it, I was like, unfortunately, because they made the finals, it's going to take a next level thing to get that attention again. But which is that they've done. They've won fucking...
18
They
straight.
didn't lose in November.
Can I ask,
No.
No, okay.
No.
As a long-term fan of the NBA, as an analyst of the game, as one of the game's biggest brains, what's the longest win streak in NBA history?
I think Miami had one in their LeBron Wade that was like 20-something. The Bulls actually put a stop to that with Nate Robinson.
Okay.
I think Golden State in their 73-9 might have had the biggest start ever, and that was 20-something as well.
Okay.
So I think it's early to mid-20s. I'm not sure of the exact number, but those are the 2 that stick out in my memory at least.
Yeah, mad.
So getting there.
Close.
Yeah, and I think...
What's their run look like, the Suns?
I'll check now, but they've beaten some big teams. They took down the Warriors. That was probably game of the year so far.
That's a big win.
Curry had like 12 points.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges might be
Steph
the MVP.
Curry, 40 plus points. That's his worst game of his career. I was like, yeah, man.
They're the other team right now.
Yeah.
That I'm like, fuck. I remember last week when we had our break week, I'm sitting in the tattoo studio, getting inked, watching Sixers and Warriors, and I'm fucking hyped. First half, we're up like 12 points.
Yeah.
We're up like 16 at one stage, and I'm like, fuck, the boys are playing great. They just, and you know, this is without Embiid. I'm like, man, we're shutting the Warriors down. Our guys are shooting well. Tyrese Maxey's going off. Seth Curry was having a really good game. I'm like, man, all the fucking pieces of the puzzle are aligning. This is good. And then I finish tattoo.
Yeah.
Drive home, turn on third quarter. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened?
Yeah, it's really those 2016-17 Warrior vibes again where you blink and you miss like a 20-point run.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, that hurts. I honestly thought we were going to have them for a minute there, and they end up putting a little bit of a score, like a little bit of a break on us. So they're just so good this year. So for the Suns to beat them the way they did.
Yeah. Well, you talked about it. Steph he shot the worst percentage ever when he took more than 20 shots.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched it, but Mikal Bridges was stuck to him like glue all night. Every year he's become a more and more dominant defender. I think he's probably got a good run at decoy this year. Yeah. It might be him, Draymond, a few other dudes, but I've never seen Steph look that rattled by a single defender. I've seen like in the finals against Toronto, they ran like a box and one. They ran different schemes.
Yeah.
But just a single dude to do that to him is pretty much unheard of.
Yeah, because I was just thinking then, like when you were saying 12 points for Steph, I was thinking, was he double teamed the whole game? What's the deal? But so literally he's just had one guy just...
Yeah, well they played good help and stuff too when he got in, and Steph did miss a few gimmies, but Mikal was just on him. Like
that's mad.
They have a rematch today actually at 2 p.m.
Really?
So by the time you listen to this, you might know what's happened. Maybe Steph's come out and had his revenge game. Yeah, maybe Mikal's put him to bed fully.
All right, people are going to probably know. So let's just make a quick prediction now. Do the Suns go 19 straight?
Yep.
No, I don't think Steph's having 2 stinkers in a row.
I agree. I reckon the Warriors beat them today.
It'll be close. It'll be like a 3 or 4 point game, but I don't know.
I'm gonna go.
Go.
Double overtime, baby.
Jesus.
Double overtime. Warriors by 2.
Nice. Wow. I hope so. I would love that.
That'd be great.
Free basketball. Looking in the East now, the Nets have felt like they've looked shit all year. Harden hasn't been good. No Kyrie. They've looked dodgy. They're winning games by like the smallest of margins. You look up and they're the best team in the East still somehow. I think that, me included, everyone was probably a bit too harsh to put the panic button on them. I think if they start finding even a bit of chemistry, they're probably going to come out of the East.
I got to say, right, so one thing I stumbled across on YouTube the other day was a little series called Under the Bridge. And it's like a little vlog series that the Nets are doing of their season.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like it follows some of their training or follows some of the players. Episode 2 was really Patty Mills dominant.
Hell yeah.
And I've watched the first 2 episodes of that. And I must say, there seems actually like there's a really good culture there. Like, even like, so you know how they talk about the blue collar boys?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like, it was Blake Griffin and another dude that started that. Then Patty's like, how do I get in on that? And Blake's like, there's actually an initiation process. It's not easy. And then once Patty took that block and went to the deck, Blake comes over and grabs him and pulls him up and goes, you're in. And then so Patty walks away and puts the helmet on, the steel cap boots. And then KD was saying in one of the press conferences, he's like, man, I want in on that. I want in on that blue collar shit, man. Like, I felt like I got some blue collar recognition tonight. And then Blake was in a press conference later and he goes, it ain't that easy. And I'm like, there feels like there's a good culture there where those boys want to be playing together. And I'm like, maybe I was a little bit harsh too about the whole superstar thing. And maybe I was using what we're seeing at the Lakers as just a reference as what we're seeing at the Nets as well. Yeah. And they actually feel like they've got a little bit of that team continuity and there's a little bit of chemistry there. Maybe that hasn't translated fully on court yet, but it seems like it's there in the locker room. Yeah. So that looks like it's only going to get better as the season goes on.
And that's the thing too, like, as much as we sort of chided KD for it early, like not wanting to comment on Kyrie about the vaccine and stuff, not wanting to comment on James coming in like out of shape and stuff, that's the stuff that internally creates a lot of goodwill, like not airing your dirty laundry to the press, that sort of thing. Like, as a journo, you always want dudes at the press conference to, like, if you're doing shit, be like, oh, it's this guy's fault and we blame the coach, because that just makes a good story. But obviously, to run a team well, that's not what you want at all. So
no, 100%.
I think everyone going about their business in a very good way, and guys like Blake and Patty that are just awesome locker room presences. I think internally the Nets are doing a lot better than what everyone thinks looking from the outside. Everyone's like, they're so disjointed, they're not doing well and stuff. But like you said, I think they're just having fun and finding their feet, really.
So I want to put my hand up here. It's been a shit 2 weeks for me as a sports viewer. I haven't watched that much, right? Like, it's been a weird 2 weeks. Like, I've been so busy that I've had fuck all time. Really, the only game I've caught of sport is that Sixers Warriors game when I was getting inked last week. Mm-hmm. So that's all I've seen for 2 weeks of sport. So I feel like I'm a little bit behind. So run me through the East. We've got the Nets at the top of the East. Are Washington still there?
I think they're kind of hovering around the 3 or 4 at the moment from memory. Bulls are up there. I think they're 2 at the moment. Who else? Bucks are coming good now. They've gotten some big wins. They beat your boys the other night.
That was very painful. Yep, we'll skip that one.
Giannis had the weirdest layup you'll ever see. It went off like the bottom left corner of the backboard and into the game. Yeah, like insane. But yeah, so they're starting to get some momentum. Who else? I think Charlotte are doing okay, aren't they?
Sixers.
Miami. Sixers are probably, like 3 to 6 range?
Okay.
It changes because everyone's so close in records. I think everyone's sort of around that 15-7, 13-8 range. So like one game will go up or down and everyone will shuffle around. But
so who do you see so we've got Nets at the top of that. Who do you see as that emerging second piece? Is it Miami?
I think you'd be hard pressed to not give it to Milwaukee. We're 20 games into the season.
Yeah.
They didn't lose that much from their championship team. I think if they can stay good, I think they'll sort of be the clear cut 1 and 2. I'd say.
Yeah. Alright.
So I've got it up here. We have Brooklyn, Chicago, Washington, Bucks, Miami, and Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland have been alright too. Hey.
They're going 12-10.
Fuck, as a Sixers fan, that hurts.
Oh yeah, where are the Sixers then?
They're 11.
That feels wild.
But their record's 11-11. Brooklyn's 15-6.
See, that's
so, they're only 4 wins behind the top seed, and they're 11.
Yeah.
So they're not too far off.
Which is weird for the East because for a long time it's been the top 3 teams will win 60 games. The next will all be 50%.
Yeah. And look, a good portion of our losses we've had no Embiid, which doesn't help. He's our guy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and I think Tobias Harris was out for a few games there as well. So, it's not been an easy stint for us. So, hopefully things get a little bit brighter as we get those guys back in the fold.
Team that... Oh, you go in.
The man who we can't mention, I haven't heard anything about him recently, which has been good.
Yeah, it's been really quiet, hasn't it, on Voldemort front?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been weirdly quiet where it's kind of should we be hearing more about them actively trying to trade this guy?
I think everyone's a bit glad for the silence. I think it's at the point where there's no... Until something happens, any other developments aren't really news, it's just speculation. So
yeah.
They've realised that with the league going on and there's actual storylines, they kind of fade into the background a bit. Which is probably good. They didn't want to be where they were, I don't think. Memphis had the biggest margin of victory in an NBA game ever yesterday. They beat Oklahoma by 73 points without Ja Morant.
Oh, fuck, really?
OKC didn't have Giddey or Shea in as well.
Yeah.
But at what point do we do something about OKC? There's got to be enough good basketball players in the world that a team's not getting beaten by 70 points.
That hurts, doesn't it? Imagine being a fan of that team.
The tweet that went out from the official team account afterwards was just the scorecard and regroup, we're back at it Monday or something. And just the pain behind those words was unreal.
You know when a team's social media is hurt.
Yeah.
The caption gives it away every time.
The Knicks are always real good at it. They'll just if they're pissed off, they'll just post the photo and no caption.
The Sixers always put final.
Yeah.
Full stop. And I'm fuck. I reckon just on Jar quickly, fuck, he's fun to watch.
Oh, he's unreal, man.
He could be one of the funnest guys to watch in the league. That guy's fucking just a running highlight reel.
Yeah.
Just fucking so entertaining. I love it.
Just no fear as well.
Yeah.
That gene where he'll go for any poster, any dunk.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck.
I fucking love that shit.
Speaking of a guy who should have been like that, I think, we haven't seen him this year yet. Zion Williamson is MIA. It was reported he was injured, then he was going to be back for the first game of the season, then the first week. We're 20 games in now. There's been a little setback, and we're still probably not going to see him till after Christmas.
Far out.
What's going on with him?
I tell you what, I've got to worry about Zion. I've had Thanksgiving. Christmas is around the corner. Man, that man was blowing up already. What weight's he coming back to fucking training camp at?
Yeah, it's worrying. But that's the thing. There was a statement put out by the Pelicans, and that one of the things they mentioned was they've adjusted the team dietary things to suit him or something.
Yeah.
So weight is obviously an issue there.
Weight is definitely an issue there, and if Is he still in Nikes?
Jordan now, I think.
Jordan. Well, let me tell you, Jordan are fucking sweating. Because after what happened to his Nikes in college, and they know that man's running out there at that weight, they're fucking talking to Shaq and saying, what fucking orthotics do you put in your shoes, big boy? Because that guy's going to need some he's going to need some training to get back in shape. Yeah. The other thing is, like, all jokes aside, when you're that heavy, you're so injury prone in a sport like basketball because you're landing on joints all the time. It's an explosive sport where you're landing out of center, out of position, out of stable position on your knees and your ankles and your hips. And I'm like, fuck, that guy needs to sort that out now, because if he wants to come back and be effective at all this season, like, you're not going to be able to do it overweight.
What was the injury that he's initially out for?
I think it was a foot thing, but they were really weird about it. Like, they didn't say when he got injured. They didn't say when he had surgery. It was super vague, like, he's injured, we're dealing with it sort of thing. So it's kind of confusing.
Yeah. I reckon he should do a fucking tell-all on Aaron Rodgers Zoom call. They can both get their feet out.
Fuck yeah. I'd pay money for that.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing to see too, because last year, like, after a bit of a rough start, again, he came out, he averaged 27 points. He looked incredible. Yeah. Like, it was the Zion that everyone was waiting for from college. But I don't think New Orleans was the right place for him at all. I don't think they had the facilities. They didn't have the team that he needed. Yeah. And I think you're seeing that now, that I think it'll be like in 2 years, he'll go to fucking New York or LA and then just become a megastar. Yeah. So he's kind of just waiting out in New Orleans because they're not doing anything to surround him with good players. Yeah. They're kind of just like, same thing they did with Davis. They're like, we've got this guy. Let's see what everyone around him can get him to, not let's put some pieces around him.
Put pieces around.
We had probably one of the more fun games of the year, for me at least, probably not for Duff, the Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. I thought I jinxed it when I messaged the group chat middle of the third quarter, poking a bit of fun at Duff. I think Charlotte went on like a 20-3 run after that, and I got a bit sweaty, but we came away with it. You got to see the Ball Bros for the first time this year, and that was fucking awesome.
I've got to say, what an opportunity they've taken as that family and the way they promote themselves to really win the fans over. Yeah. Like, I think the execution of their play was going to be really important because there was so much hype built up around them and how good they were going to be, and, you know, their dad is so vocal. But they've really delivered, and I feel like every time those guys match up, every time there's conversation about it, there's a real energy in that arena, and there's a real energy to the game, and we've seen that again. And it's becoming one of those classic battles. It's very much like when Steph and Seth like get together in a game. There's this like rivalry between brothers, and, you know, when I was watching that Sixers Warriors game, when Steph fucking faked and stepped back to take that three and left Seth for dead, you could see Seth was like, fuck. And it's like, you could see the same thing the other night when Lonzo got left for dead and LaMelo took that three. But then obviously they went back and forth at each other all game, and just a classic matchup. It's so cool to see.
Because for them, that's the shit they've been getting from each other their whole lives too. Like, it's just another installment in the backyard games, but they're doing it in fucking NBA arenas.
Yeah, it was sick. And the game was like mad as well. Like Bulls, Hornets, they're two legit teams this year.
Fun teams.
Good to watch.
Yeah, I got a bit nervous, but pulled through in the end.
Pulled through.
It's crazy to see, like, I don't know. I remember watching LaMelo when he was 15, like with his fucking braces shooting half-court shots and stuff. Yeah. And you sort of like, you kind of always knew it would be here, but it's cool to see that actual progression of now he legit is an NBA dude.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I think there's something special about LaMelo because he came to Wollongong. He played here at the Hawks.
Yeah. He's basically an Aussie. Like,
yeah, he's basically an honorary member of Blokes and their Balls.
Yeah, the fourth member. Yeah. He's over there just off camera.
He would be in the fold, but there's too much controversy spoken about on this pod. That's literally it. Yeah. That's it. So, and he pays us to be here.
Bit of a few interesting weeks for LeBron. He's been in and out of action, had some abdominal stuff going on, had COVID, tweeted about it being fishy, then the league said he didn't have COVID. I think the Lakers are going to rise and fall with him. Someone tweeted out that they've won 75% of their games with him in the lineup still, so they're not as bad as they might seem. Russ has come good, but I just still don't think they have it. I just think they're missing the secret sauce.
Yeah, there's a missing piece of the puzzle there, and I think it's just players get older and they lose that. Like, you can still be a good player, but it's like anyone. As you age in any league, the way you play the game changes, and you can still be effective, but you just may not be as effective as you were. And that's probably the story for the Lakers this year. I found the COVID thing really fishy because he tests positive. Then I think for the next 8 tests after that, they were all negatives.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how the fuck does that work? And I'm like, surely there's a protocol where if someone's testing positive, they're running multiple tests.
Yeah, you'd think so. You'd run
because
it back
I'm
up
like,
straight away.
you know, we know that there can be false positives. So it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that feels off. That's going to add, you know, COVID was always going to add to the controversy of any league this year. And we had to see it in Australia, really. Like, we're pretty lucky here. But in the NBA and the NFL, who knows, man? Those Americans, they like to do a few sketchy things in the back end. So, yeah, they are.
Boston Celtics legend Enes Kanter has changed his name to Enes Kanter Freedom. He spent the last month calling out the NBA, LeBron, pretty much everyone for weird human rights takes. I think he's kind of gone off. He's been on Fox News and stuff now. Like,
yeah,
I just feel like he's gone off the deep end a little bit.
Yeah, drinking the same sauce as Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly, yeah.
I didn't realise that. I thought he was just doing it because he wanted to be a citizen or something, was it?
So I think he got made a citizen because he's always had problems with, he's always tried to call for like, I think he's Turkish, so like independence from Turkey and stuff. Okay. As a result, he's kind of blacklisted from their country, like he can never go back. He's got an American citizenship. But he's taken on this weird, like it is important, like the Chinese human rights issues and stuff like that. But instead of fighting for it in a meaningful way, he's just spent the whole time having a go at Nike and having a go at LeBron and stuff. And then, was on Fox News talking about how, everyone should shut up and appreciate how they live in such a good country and stuff like that. Just, I think he did a little bit and then everyone got behind him and he got a little bit, like, too cocky because of it.
I think it's that line that needs to be towed where the minute you start putting shit on the people who can actually help you...
Yeah.
And the minute you start insulting the people that you're trying to get to understand where you're coming from, you lose the interest and the respect of the people in the room.
Yeah. Well, LeBron got asked about it in a press conference, and he's like, I walked past him 3 times in the hallway during today, and he didn't say a single word to me. But he's been on all these press conferences coming up and stuff. Like, he's just using my name to get himself further. He's not really that passionate about what he's talking about. If that makes sense. Breaking news from this morning. Neil O'Shea, I think he's the GM of the Trailblazers, has officially been fired after a report into him.
Wow.
He was already pretty contentious. He hired the Blazers' new coach, whose name's escaping me, Chauncey Billups, after there's some allegations and stuff on him and a bit of... Okay. He probably wasn't the best guy for that role. They didn't really do their research into him.
Yep.
Should Lillard just have left in the off-season? He stayed, he's trying to fight it out. It's not working. Portland looks shit.
You've got to respect him for it, right? Yeah. Like, you got to respect him for it. There's those, and it's in any league. There's those players who are like so loyal to the side that they're in and to that organisation. And Lillard's one of those guys. And unfortunately, his career is suffering because of it. We know how good he can be.
Yeah.
It's a shame to see. So what's the situation there? How are they going to rectify this?
I don't know, because that's the thing. Like, they was looking at. People thought he might try and ask for a trade during the off-season. Philly were obviously a big point of call because of Simmons and everything.
Yeah.
His contract's obviously one thing, but I'm just confused about what's going on there. Like, I think he really tried to show a vote of confidence by staying and saying we'll figure it out this year.
Yeah.
But they look the same as they have every year, which is a weird middle of players. They'll make the playoffs. They'll make maybe the second round. They'll flame out in 4. Yeah. They run it back again. Like, they just feel like they've been the same team for 10 years.
Yeah, which is hard to see.
And that's it. Like, there's even Portland fans online now saying if Lillard was to leave and go get a ring somewhere else, there's really no hard feelings towards him because he's given them everything he can.
Yeah.
It's just that the front office and the organisation hasn't repaid that by making winning moves and surrounding him by good players.
I feel bad for him as well. Like, he's choosing to stay there. You would think they would get behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, come on, let's get some more players for him. But
and then just the last one on the NBA, bit of some weird John Wall news coming out of Houston that he's still a fully contracted player there, but they're just opting not to play him. They're obviously going full tank mode. He's had to go to the front office and ask if he's allowed to play. Like, he wants to get back into it, but they're just being really weird and holding him out.
Why is this?
So I think they want to get rid of him, but he's got a huge contract, and they just want to play all their young guys and play the tank and that sort of thing. So he's been in street clothes with the team the whole year, just travelling around, sitting on the bench.
Yeah, wow.
Really weird.
That is weird. Surely his services could be used somewhere else.
That's the thing. Like, he's still not done. He's got a few good years in him.
Yeah.
Let him go somewhere where he can be like an off the bench dude, kind of like Derrick Rose in New York now.
Yeah.
Not MVP level, but still contributing good minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's NBA. A few big weeks coming up. Boxing. Australia had probably one of its biggest boxing results ever last week. George Kambosis took down Teofimo Lopez in 12 rounds in a fight that I think a lot of Aussies saw happening, but apparently no one else in the boxing world expected.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think George was paying like $10 just to win, like, which is crazy odds in boxing. I watched the fight. I watched every second of it. Like, my eyes were locked on that screen. It was impossible to look away. Couldn't look away because you felt like you're going to miss something. And I was like, in that first round, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was there with my mate Pheonix, a couple of other lads that had come to watch the fight, that we all kind of knew each other, and we were all fucking going off in that first round because it was mental. Like, the way that Teofimo, which we know that's what he done to Lomachenko, he come out and took the fight to him. So you knew that was going to happen, but it fucking happened to the nth degree. And the way that I was really impressed with George's chin, because he took a few shots in that first exchange, and I think he knew what he was looking for. He found that overhand right, and that overhand right changed the trajectory of the whole fight. It really put Teofimo Lopez on notice, and he went back after that first round to his corner, and you could see his dad trying to settle him, but ego took over.
Yeah.
You could see in his eyes he wasn't ready to listen to instructions, that he had more to prove for his ego than he did to win that fight.
Yeah.
And he went back out there with the same strategy in round 2, and he got outboxed. And really, I had the fight, by the end of the 12th, I had the fight to George by 2 points.
Yeah.
And I know the commentator at DAZN had it 2 points to George as well, who was doing like a live scorecard.
Yeah, Chris Mannix.
But it's fucking New York City, Madison Square Garden, and the commission there, they're fucking, like, God knows. If something goes to a decision in New York, it can go either fucking way.
Yeah.
Because their athletic commission is fucked.
Well, that's the thing. They were saying it all fight that, like, Teo's got the belt. You really need to, like, make a good display to take it away. And then, we said it in the chat, but when they were doing the scores and they said it was a split decision, I was like, fuck. Like, this is them giving the belt back to Teo, but acknowledging that George fought well or whatever. But when they actually went George's way, it was unreal. Yeah,
it was unreal. And I thought, credit to him, because in that 10th, he took that hit and he took that knockdown. And I was really worried because when he got back up and they kept fighting, he just didn't look steady on his legs. And you could see his legs were still a little unsteady. But he kept moving forward. And I think he fought really intelligently at the end of that 10th, where he kept throwing his jab. He kept putting together combinations just to make sure Lopez couldn't advance too far on him while he was hurt, but he was smart enough to stay out of danger. And in that 11th and 12th, he won those 2 championship rounds and looked really strong. So, massive victory for Australia. That's a guy who has come from the ground up. You know, he's been through it all, and he's been, you know, he really hasn't got the recognition he's deserved for a long time now, and now he's the guy who gets to call the shots. Lopez doesn't want a rematch by the looks of things.
He's going to go up, he said.
Yeah, he's going to go up, which that guy's a fucking sore loser as far as I'm concerned. The way he acted post-fight was disrespectful and embarrassing. But the thing that I thought was really cool is I seen a video this week of, I think it was George's old man, who was in his corner and in the ring there, and he was talking about, he's like, this kid's built different, and this has been him his whole life. He was talking about a moment from when he was 11 at school sport, at cross country, or some training, and all the kids were like flogging him in these laps, and all the kids used to cut the corners, and he'd never cut the corners. And he said, and I said to this kid who's 11, George, why don't you cut the corners so you can catch up? And he goes, nah, Dad, like, all these kids, they won't be here in the future. I will be. Like, and it's like, he's never taken the shortcut. He's always been there for the hard work. And I think that's where that guy, he's born and bred from the dirt. And Harry Garside, a friend of the pod, he put out a thing this year saying, he put it out, sorry, not this year, this week, before the fight. And he was like, George has got this today because no matter what, no matter who, no matter when, he'll always be ready.
Yeah.
He puts the work in. And, we've seen that, and fucking congratulations to him because his life changes. He gets to call the shots now. He's the champ, and he'll get the recognition and the love he deserves. So, good on him.
Yeah, it was sick to see. I didn't watch the fight. I don't know what I was doing. I must have missed it somehow.
Yeah.
But it was sick to see. And then an Aussie as well, going up there, taking all the belts. You see them dominate Australia sometimes.
Yeah.
They go America or the UK, and then if they lose their first fight over there, then
it hurts.
and then they come back and have to restart.
It's a good time for Aussie boxing,
Oh, unreal time.
Brock Jarvis is on the up. You've got Harry Garside making his pro debut. You've got Kambosis now the champ. We've got another heavyweight guy who's over there.
Yeah, Dempsey McKean. He had his first fight. I can't remember who it was, but he got a TKO there.
He's been sparring with Anthony Joshua, I think.
Yeah.
So, these guys are putting in work, and it's exciting times for Aussie boxing. And, I think I can see the next point there on the run sheet. Gallen now fighting Lussick.
I was going to say quickly, with Kambosis, they've got Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz, I think is this weekend.
Yeah.
And then it looks, from the sounds of it, that Kambosis will take on the winner of that fight.
Really hope it's Devin Haney, because that would be a big fight.
But he said, whoever it is, it's in Australia. 80,000 in either Sydney or Melbourne. He's
and Eddie Hearn backed that.
Yeah, because he said he's been overseas, he's done the hard work.
Yeah.
When you're on top, they have to come to you now. You're not going to go run into them to fight them in their backyard.
Amen.
So it'll be awesome. The boys, if he's fighting in Sydney or even in Melbourne, will fucking be there for sure.
100%. Oh yeah. 100%.
But now on to the important big fight, which is Gallen versus Lustig, announced for December 22, I believe.
Yeah. Look, Gallen will piece Lustig up.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Lustig. Credit to him for taking the fight on late notice and getting ready, and I think he'd been training anyways, just hoping he could find something. But, Paul Gallen's, he's no heavyweight extraordinaire, but fucking respect to that man because, he's beaten some guys. And, he continues to surprise us. I thought his last win against Lucas Brown was really impressive.
It's pretty convincing.
Yeah, considering that Lucas Brown held belts at one point. Paul Gallen, he goes in there, he's a tough little fucker, he'll cop some shots, he doesn't fucking back down from a fight. I think Pheonix and I are heading up to that fight now it's in Sydney, so we're going to head up, more so to watch Harry. I'm really keen to see Harry debut and see what he can do out there in his first pro fight, but it's cool, it's nice to see boxing getting a little bit of love in Australia.
Yeah, sick.
It has felt the last 6 months, the trajectory's really just been going up for it, the combo of a bit of celebrity boxing like this and legitimate talent as well. It's really made it must-see TV again, which is cool.
Yeah, look, no limits. George Rose, their ex-rugby league player, he's done a really good job of that promotion. And, we've seen it in the Tim Tszyu fight, which I think we spoke about 2 or so weeks ago when we were last on. There was a fucking crowd there.
Oh, they packed it out,
They got numbers. So, we haven't seen that in a long time in Oz boxing. So, it's exciting times. And, with plenty of... not just good fighters, there's really good young fighters. We're talking about a couple of guys here in the Australian scene that have got 10-year careers ahead of them. So, it's not like we've got a couple of veterans that are ready to call it a day. This is that next generation, and, with those guys being young and them having probably plenty of sparring partners who are doing good things too, our future looks good.
Definitely.
And they're getting the chances to fight more now with the no limit cards and everything. There's a few fighters that were on the Tim Tszyu undercard, they're now on the Gallen one as well. Yeah. So they just go back, just keep fighting.
Back and forth.
So staying in the Aussie sport realm, we'll look at some NRL now.
Yeah.
Start off with probably the most disgusting signing that's come out so far is, after all the rumours, after all the debate, Hectic Cheese is officially going to the fucking Roosters.
It's no surprise.
Unfortunately.
It's no surprise. Uncle Nick's a good man. Uncle Nick's the kind of uncle that you want on Christmas, right? Because he's providing. He's coming with the good shit. And let me tell you, Brendan Smith is some of the good shit. The Hectic Cheese knows how to play football. He's going to be a very welcomed addition at the Tricolours. And, I listened to Isaac John's potty with Brandon during the week, and, I was a little smile on my face when I heard about, Trent Robbo treating him to a nice home-cooked dinner. You know, Mark Burris taking him out for a little bit of tea. And, you know, the Roosters, the boys just know how to fucking woo a sign.
They know how to wine and dine them.
Yeah, they know how to wine and dine them and get that fucking signature on the dotted line. And I think the thing for Brandon is he wants to play in a team where he can win championships. Everyone does.
Yeah.
And I just felt like he pieces in to our puzzle really well. Like the last sort of piece of the puzzle that we really needed to figure out was our hooker position. Because Semi Verrills didn't look...
I like Semi Verrills.
I like Semi, but he looked a step behind last season off the back of that injury, which is understandable, like a year out with an ACL. But I think... I was saying to Pheonix yesterday, we're running, and I'm like, dude, can you imagine being a player on the opposition, running the ball up, and you look in front of you, you've got Jared Maria-Hargraves, Victor Radley... The cheese... And then you think, maybe I'll sidestep all of them, and then fucking Lindsay Collins is looking at you like, yeah, right on, cunt, come this way. Like, you literally got no hope.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Like, the boys are, like, it's an incredible team. We've got such a good forward pack, and obviously he's a 2023 signing. And I really hope this year, because I've been a fan of Semi Verrills, what he done in that year that we got the GF and he scored that try, he had an incredible season. Like, he's such a talented young fella. And he's a nippy little bastard, so the game's rule changes as he gets back to pace from his injury will really suit him. I really hope he has a great season because it looks likely he'll sign a Parramatta with Reid Marnie off. So, you know, we'll see. Hopefully Cheese is a really good signing for us and can be there for a couple of years. But, you know, I've got to say, it's I think a little bit unfair. He copped a lot of criticism in the media this week for his comments, which I thought were quite respectful and
as a footy player,
honest. Like, yeah, like I think why are we so upset about a footy player sharing the journey of the people he's speaking to?
Yeah, exactly.
We're writing and reporting about it anyways.
It's Australian sports media and especially NRL media.
Yeah.
It just sometimes seems like they don't actually like what they do. They don't like the sport or they don't like the athletes. They're so critical of it and they're so ready to just like cut the throat of anyone who steps out of line. Like, there was the article after he was on the podcast, the Bulldog wrote, which is just straight bullshit. Like, oh, he was on a podcast and he said the F word and even the C word, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, he's not on fucking ABC Kids.
Yeah, it's fine. He's on a podcast you can choose to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I get, if you're a Storm fan, you might be upset about the Rooster stuff.
Yeah.
Fair play to you. I don't really give a fuck about it, but, like, I can imagine being your feelings. But to legitimately be angry because a grown man said some swear words on a podcast, like, it's no wonder there's a problem with coverage when that's the... And, like, that's why people don't want to do interviews. That's why a lot of NRL players are really hard to get for media, because everything they do and everything they say is fucking taken apart and picked at till you find the one thing that makes them look bad, and then that's the story for everyone.
Yeah. I feel like the media got shitty that he went... Instead of going through the media, he went through a new media outlet, like podcasts.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, you can't do this, so then they're trying to cancel it as soon as it happens.
Danny Weiler's got his knickers in or not.
Yeah. Speaking of him, though, we saw Kikau also allegedly joining the Bulldogs in 2023. Does this raise the question, does the NRL need to change how they do things so guys aren't agreeing to new contracts full seasons before they happen?
Yeah, I think so, and I think I get securing the future is important, but if everyone's given a trade and signing deadline where trade season or signing season opens and closes, I think that's the right way to do it, because it does, you know, it is disheartening as a fan when you know someone's leaving, but unfortunately because they haven't set up the right structures around signing and trading in the NRL, it's been a free-for-all for so long that as a player, you can understand you want to secure your next financial position. And, you know, it's sad that someone leaked those photos of Bill Kikau in the Bulldogs kit. But, you know, I think one of the boys was telling me this week that, like, Jerome Luai was on a live and, like, they were doing, like, a celebration and he was taking the piss out of Kikau for being a dog the year after.
It was on their championship tour.
Yeah, so I think the players understand. Yeah. Like, they're all in the same boat. You know, this is what they love to do, but it's also how they're going to make a living to support their family. So, yeah, I think we're just got to the NRL has to be better at like setting up the structures around signing and trades.
Well, you saw even with Smith, there was like the report out yesterday, I think it was like the Storm don't even know if they're going to bring him back to training because of this. And it's like, he's still with you for another entire year. Like, it just seems like such baby shit to be like, oh, well, you're leaving us in a year, well, you can't come now. Like, you're going to shoot yourself in your own foot.
Why wouldn't you get another season?
Yeah, just
potential
dumb
championship.
Shit. Dumb shit.
Yeah.
We also saw Coruscant go to the Tigers as the Panthers team slowly falls apart post-championship.
Yeah.
I don't think they're falling apart though. They just can't keep everyone. Like I saw
breakout season shit.
Yeah.
Like
I think it was Nathan Cleary, maybe it was Ivan. One of them said like, after how well everyone's played, we don't have the money to keep them all. Yeah. So we're going to lose some players, but we just got to focus on...
Which is fair. I think they've done really well to keep majority of those players in the squad. I think I'm really excited that Coruscant signed the Tigers. He's such a good player that, you know, there's been a bit of talk about the Tigers this year that, like, they're really struggling to secure any signings. And it's kind of hard. Like, even with money, they can't lure big names. Like, they've had a couple of guys that they've really had a crack at, and they've not been able to get them across the line. And there's something wrong there with that Tigers culture. I know Tim Sheens has gone back. He's on the board now. Hopefully he can help bring that, you know, winning Tigers culture back and people wanting to be a part of the Tigers. Benji Marshall's back there on the board now. You can see that they're trying to rectify the issue that's there by bringing in people who have been a part of the rich history of the Tigers and trying to give players an idea of what being a West Tiger is about, because they've got a great fan base, really good fan base. So they just need those one or two signings that attract other people there. And unfortunately, I think this year is going to be another really tough year for the Tigers. It's really a 5-year build process they need there now. And they need to stop chopping and changing coaches and doing that stuff. Like, you know, keep Madge there for a while, build the team around Coruscant this year, try to get some talent from your juniors up and progressing, and then try to find those next pieces of the puzzle around the spine that are going to set up your team for the next 5 years. So, you know, fingers crossed, because, you know, as much as I love the Roosters being dominant and, you know, seeing us at the top of the league, there's nothing worse than when it feels like you're in a competition with 4 teams that could win it and 12 participants.
Yeah, exactly.
And they need, like, to do what the Bulldogs kind of did, like, just build up a war chest.
Yeah.
Like, go through the shit years.
Yeah.
Give your juniors game time. And then after, like, 5 years, you can buy a new halfback.
Well, look at them now.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
That's
so
scary.
tell me, has Reid Marnie signed for the Is it the Bulldogs he's going to?
Oh, was it? I'm not sure.
I can't remember who he signed with because he's let me have a look now.
Probably will be.
Fuck, he's a good player, and the Bulldogs have made some really good signings.
We've got Addo Carr, Matt Burden. He's going to be a freak this year. Who else did they get? Paul Vaughan even.
Dogs.
Yeah. Reid Mahoney. Whatever names.
Yeah. I feel like that we've got to address junior progression in rugby league. The Panthers done a really good job of it, but I can't remember who I seen it from or where I heard it, but there was some talk about how we could set up a draft in the NRL, and because we don't have the high school or junior system that like the NFL, NBA, or even the AFL in Melbourne has, how we could use the rookies to do a draft setup and make sure they don't just end up at the big teams. And I think there was a suggestion around like a first-year rookie draft where you allow rookies to come into the fold, play their first season. They're only allowed to be signed on a 1-year contract as a rookie NRL player. And then there's a draft process where they go to another team. And I'm like, I feel like that could be really smart because you allow them to have a breakout year wherever they get their opportunity. And then you make sure they end up somewhere. Like, for me, say for a great example, Joseph Suwali. The games that he got last year for the Roosters was outstanding. Yeah. For an 18-year-old kid who was doing his HSC.
I think he was still 17.
17, that's right, he was too, yeah. Outstanding. So the question is, that guy is going to get an opportunity this year at the Roosters, right? Where he's likely going to play on the wing. Is he best served at the Roosters? He could probably be a superstar somewhere else. Yeah. Really help their team. Play in his natural position at centre, get really good game time, really good season prospects, help build a team for the next 5 years to come. If he has a breakout year at the Roosters, we go, okay, this guy's what he said he's about. He goes into a draft system. A team like the Tigers go, we need a centre. We draft Joseph. I feel like that's actually a really smart play. I don't know. What do you think?
I think with NRL, it would be hard to get the players on board because I think that idea of going from you can pick exactly who you want to go sign with to you get 1 year and then we can fucking send you down to Melbourne if you want or send you up to Gold Coast. I think there'd be a bit of issues trying to get players used to that. But I think in terms of trying to help the league, it's obviously needed because there is that issue in the NRL of top heaviness and the teams at the bottom really struggle to get going because there's no incentive to get better. The only way to do it is to sign people, and people aren't going to sign because you're shit.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I get what you mean. We're almost a little bit entitled here in Australian sport. Like, we spoke about the whole draft thing. Are we going to do that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we've got to.
Yeah. Is it
in
the run sheet?
I forgot to add it today.
Okay, how's it going to work? So we come up with an idea. I feel like, have we done all the NRL? Have we done all the talk?
Well, there's just quickly Tyron May.
We'll come back to the draft thing, Let's finish the NRL.
Yeah, it was literally just going to be like, he's going to France, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. Send him to Catalans.
And then the first Dolphin signing, who I did not put his name down because it's amateur hour.
Kaufusi.
Oh, fuck, thanks. See, we have real pros here.
Good signing for them. Really good signing for them. Good quality back rower. Queensland representative. I think he's played for Australia.
Well, possibly. I'm not
sure.
Yeah,
really good player. So, good guy to build a team and a four-pack around.
Well, there was the talk that Smith had a verbal agreement with the Dolphins before he went to you guys instead.
Yeah.
Again, you
what
can't
words
fault...
mean, actions mean something. Put pen to paper, Dolphins.
And you can't fault the guy from choosing not to join this new unproven franchise to go to someone else. Do you know what I mean? If I was doing it, I'd do the same thing too. It's about, like you talked about, it's about securing your future. And
100%.
You don't want to tie it to a team that might fucking flail
100%.
And not launch for fucking 4 or 5 years. So do you want to do the draft now? Or?
Yeah, let's do the draft. How are we going to do this?
You're on, Duff.
I don't know. It's not really a draft. We just chuck it all random generator.
Okay. So we spoke about... I had this theory, right? I said to the boys... Imagine if, the way that you picked your team as a fan was you got drafted to a city. This is America we're talking about.
Yep.
And you just had to follow the two teams from that city. The NBA team, the NFL team. How would you feel about that? I guess it's kind of the same treatment that the players go through. They got to go through the rough periods of early years at a franchise that isn't too good, and they've got to allow time and the pieces of the puzzle to come together. So we'll do a little bit of a draft. So I think if we go USA, so we've got 50, is it 52 states?
I believe so.
50 states now. They lost 2.
That's geography from
They
Gen
lost 2 in the fold somewhere. I feel like if we look at their states, how can we do this?
Just do a number generator from 1 to 50.
Okay. That's smart.
And then you just, whatever city's in that state, whatever the biggest one is or something.
So USA states. So I'm in a list of the states. I feel like... Okay, I've got the states here by list, right?
Yep.
So random number generator coming up.
Who's first pick? You want it, Duff, or am I taking it?
I'll take it.
Here we go.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go 1 to 50.
Alright.
3,
Ready, Duff?
Yeah.
2, 1.
Generating number 32.
32, alright.
Alrighty, so number 32 on the list of US states. Oh, fuck, they haven't numbered them for us, so...
Fucking hell. This is just top quality podcasting. If you listen to this in your drive home, just I hope you're enjoying it.
You got New York.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Not bad. So you've got... Okay.
Well,
so
actually, to be honest, if you're talking about NFL...
Giants.
You're talking about NFL, not that good. So if you're New York, right, you've got a few options here, right? So
should I choose or should you guys choose for me? What do we think?
I think we should choose
I like
for
choosing
him.
for him.
Okay.
Way more fun.
Do we give him the Knicks or the Nets?
Well, you said you're a bit of a Knicks boy, didn't you?
Yeah.
But has that changed now? They're shit again.
You know, I reckon we're going to do a right thing. It's changed. Okay, yeah. I reckon we're going to do the right thing here. We'll give him the Nets.
Yeah, we'll give him the Nets.
We'll give him the Nets because I feel like he's been a Paddy Mills boy this season. He's been on that Paddy Mills 6th man of the year.
And the football's not great. So
the football's not great. Do we give him the Giants or the Jets?
Nah, give him the Jets. That's hilarious.
Give him the Jets.
The Giants are just as shit though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're pretty much.
Yeah, but to me the Jets are just funnier. Like they're just like funny bad, not just like sad bad.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we'll give you the Jets. So the New York Jets.
Jets and the Nets.
The Nets.
Right. I think that's pretty fair.
That's not bad.
All
right. Jed, you're up.
I'll take it. Let's do it. Technical difficulties. Brad's having a senior moment.
Generate number 10. Oh shit.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Like I feel like I could have definitely organised this better, right? Georgia, Atlanta, the Hawks, and the Falcons.
Done.
That's not bad.
Done.
2 birds. 2 of the big birds.
The Falcons are a bit shit, but you know.
Hawks are
fun.
A little bit shit, but the Hawks are fun.
Yeah.
Get a bit of Trae Young.
Sorted.
Very nice.
Bad.
I like it. All right. The Caps up.
ATL, baby.
Jed, we've got to make sure he actually counts it properly.
48.
I'll count these ones.
Yeah,
48. Well, it's just a second from the bottom. That's made your job really easy, hasn't it? So you got 50, 59.
West Virginia.
Who the fuck's in West Virginia?
There's always one that has to make it difficult.
I legit don't even
fucking know. Is that a state?
No, I'm sure Wikipedia's just lying to us.
Is that seriously a state?
Yeah, I'll Google West Virginia pro sports teams.
West.
Maybe you're just going to have to go to college football.
Back to college.
There are no major professional sports teams in West Virginia.
We'll go redraw.
Okay, fair enough.
Oops. Oh, I got rid of the random number generator. Fucking hell.
This guy, man.
We're getting back. Alright. 1 to 50. Generate 8.
That's easy.
So that was just before. This is no
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Delaware.
Fuck, surely there's no one in Delaware.
I wouldn't.
There's no team in Delaware.
Delaware.
Fucking hell. They just don't want me to go pro.
They don't want to see us win.
It's a travesty.
No.
Right.
Here you go, third time's the charm,
random
mate.
number generator, third time lucky.
If you pull like LA or something, I'd be fucking furious after this.
32.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did someone already have 32?
Oh yeah, I was 32.
You were 32.
Fuck's sake, Brad. Come
Alright,
on.
let's go. 24.
Okay.
That's Kobe.
So Duff was 32, which is New York. So you just got to work back from that.
How many back?
So 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24.
Mississippi?
I swear to God they've got no sports teams either.
I'm very close to saying you don't get any.
You're in college, mate.
Fucking hell. One more.
Come on.
8 again. Generate again. 1.
Okay.
So like Alabama or something?
Yep.
Who's college Alabama? Football. Alabama football.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any.
Fuck, they just don't want me pro, do they? They don't want me in the league. 16. Okay. Surely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Kansas.
Chiefs, baby.
Who's the NBA though?
I'm not sure if you have one, but...
Kansas City. So Kansas City... Who's their NBA? That's a great question. Who's their NBA team? Their NBA team is Sacramento Kings. Is it? No.
No.
No, Memphis.
Kansas City has been without an NBA franchise since then.
I think the closest is... Fuck me dead.
Are you happy to just cop the Chiefs?
I'm just copping the Chiefs.
You know what? They're probably going to win the fucking Super Bowl, so
yeah,
I think you've got more chance than either of us do.
I'll cop the Chiefs and I'll just go fucking... I'll stay a Sixers fan.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
That's pretty miserable.
Maybe we'll organise a really good draft one day that isn't fucking...
Yeah, we'll do a better one that we put more than 4 seconds of work into.
Alright.
Just quickly talking about some NBL news. We had the Blitz, which is like the pre-season tournament thing.
Yep.
Adelaide 36ers went undefeated in that 4-0. They played last night and lost, I think. But I think they're going to be a really fun team this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
We saw Matthew Dellavedova make his NBL debut. He didn't look good.
No.
Not
the Delhi that we know and love.
He played 4 games over the preseason, didn't crack double digits once. I think him and Melbourne are going to have a rough year ahead of him.
Yeah, that is rough.
Like, I think Delhi was already coming on the downslope pretty hard.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't see... Like, we saw him at the Olympics and it wasn't that great. I think he was a rough inclusion. I think he kind of got in just because he was part of that core group and he had experience.
Yeah.
He's not athletic enough. He's just too old at this point.
Sad times for Melbourne.
Last night, the Tasmania Jack Jumpers got their first win ever.
Hold on. Did you just say the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers?
Yep.
I know, we need to talk about that.
Shocking name. They had a full contest to name the team, right? And that was what they came up with. I was like...
That's some 6-year-old kid whose name is Jack. Just thought, what do they do in basketball? They jump. I'll call them the Jack Jumpers.
Apparently it's some like little ant thing that's just in Tasmania. And there were some cool names. Like, there was like Tassie Tridents was one of them. Like, there were some really cool names with like all this sort of...
I could have thought of 1,000 better names than the Jack Jumpers.
You should see how shit the jerseys look because of it too. Like, the name's like this long.
Oh my god. Come on, Tasmania.
Shocking. But yeah, they got their first win in Tasmania in overtime, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Good game. I think they're going to be pretty fun. I didn't rate them that much coming into it, but they look like they're sort of clicking on all cylinders for the moment at least.
Yeah.
For their first game, they were looking pretty good.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got some real fun imports.
Yeah.
And then we'll just talk about some movie stuff quickly too, because we've seen over the last sort of month, there's been some good sports movie and TV related. King Richard released last week, which is a story of Venus and Serena Williams and their father.
Played by Will Smith.
Yeah, so it's out. Will Smith's in it.
I want to see that.
Colin in Black and White is a semi-autobiographical series about Colin Kaepernick, which is sort of narrated by him. That was really interesting. That got a bit of pushback too. Duff, you were talking about that in the group chat too.
It was pretty cool.
I need to watch that.
I'm halfway through it, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask you boys, what sports story do you want to see on the big screen?
That's a great question.
If you could greenlight one movies, right now. Oh, they're the best.
I love sport movies. I feel like... I know. Let's make a movie about Dennis Rodman.
Oh, that's it.
That's like The Hangover meets... that's like The Hangover meets like...
Coach
Carter. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Who plays Dennis Rodman in a movie?
I was thinking that.
Do you get Denzel's got a little bit of crazy about him?
Maybe his son. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Tenet and stuff?
His son.
He'd be good, I reckon.
He was in Ballers too.
Yeah. Maybe Michael B. Jordan? Or is he a little bit too
polished? Too polished.
Too clean.
I need someone who's a little bit fucking nuts.
Maybe do you know Yahya Abdul-Mateen?
No.
He's in the new Matrix movie that's coming out. He was in Watchmen. He's in a few things, but he's really cool. I think he could do it.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a good movie.
That's what I think. They got a documentary about him coming out at some point.
Yeah, okay.
So that would be fucking awesome.
I like it. Duff?
You really put me on the spot. I'm just gonna say the Ball Brothers.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
I could say a cool
they've had a lot of media coverage, but a real in-depth one about LeVar.
Yeah, see, I could see Lonzo being played by Michael B. Jordan. LeVar by Denzel.
Yeah, we talked about that on a previous episode, I remember.
Who plays Mello?
You.
Yours truly.
Yeah. Mello's somehow white and shorter than 6 foot.
I'll just get you on some stilts, the stacked heels.
Yeah. Actually, can I just say something? One thing I've seen, just while we're talking about personalities of the game quickly.
Of course.
I've seen him pop up again this week, and I love it. Allen Iverson, right? Have you seen that quote from him back in the day? They're like, why don't you hit weights? And he's like, because that shit's heavy. Yeah. I'm like, that's so good. I just wanted to add that.
No, he's funny.
I just wanted to add that.
I'm going to bring a bit of an... I was thinking about an NBA one, but if we both got NBA, I think we need to diversify it a bit. Yeah. I'm going to go super classic. All the oldies will love it. I think a bit of a Stephen Bradbury. Classic story about how he became...
Very Australian.
Bit of an ice skating thing.
Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, Stephen I can Bradbury. See it. Yeah. Very nice. Just classic heartwarming story.
Has anyone seen... Talk about Australian movies. Has anyone seen that Saturday Night Live skit of Chris Hemsworth talking about how he made it?
No.
And he's like... The premise of the ad is like... He says right at the end, he's like... if a jacked Australian, and if a good-looking, like, jacked Australian can make it, anyone can. And it's like he's talking, it's fucking funny as. Like, if you haven't seen that, search Chris Hemsworth Saturday Night Live skit.
It's good.
And I think it's for some, like, insurance company or something like that. It's an ad, it's a fake ad. Check it out, it's very funny.
So just quickly talk about the dropkick of the week. We touched on it before, but it's not just Antonio Brown. It's him and a few other guys from the Buccaneers, but they've all been found out to be faking their vaccine stuff. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening, and it's going to keep being frustrating every time.
Yeah, when will they learn, hey? Letting their team down. So, you know, unfortunately, has Tom Brady been vocal about that?
I don't think so. I think he's the sort of dude that's going to say nothing about it.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even strike me as a guy that would come out and, like, encourage general people to get vaccinated. Like, to me, he's a very, like, don't get involved in politics sort of guy.
Yeah.
Because I think he's also a raging Republican.
Okay.
But,
We'll see what that means for the Bucks then. Because
I think they're missing like 3 weeks, is it?
Yeah, something like it.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, obviously this week there's no tip of the week with Dazza because we're recording on a Saturday, which means we're a little bit late. So you guys, the supporters of the show, won't be lucky enough to get some money. I did have some feedback on that last week.
Oh, did you? Good feedback.
Not last week, the week before. I was going for a run with a couple of my mates on a Sunday morning, as we do. One of the boys goes, lost a bit of coin on your old man's tips this week. And I was like, brother, you know the game. It's either house deposits or poverty.
Yeah.
You toe the line.
Exactly.
You know? And you know, if you want to play the game, you got to fucking run with the results.
If you got to play the game, boy, you got to learn to play it right.
Exactly.
As my man Kenny says.
Exactly.
All right, hot takes. I honestly can't remember what's been happening on hot takes. It's been that far. Yeah,
it's been all over the shop, hasn't it? Really, our hot takes. They've not been great. I'd like to make some hot takes. Fuck, I don't even know because I was thinking the UFC's this weekend. It's not, is it?
I've got a good one.
Go.
I think that the slide's going to continue for the Rams. I think we're going to see a gigantic upset, and I think the Jags are going to come away with their second victory.
I love it. I hope that happens.
I can just see it happening. Like we talk about it, you know, like a shit team catches them. I think the Rams will be thinking like, yeah, you know, like this will be like a good team to get our group back against.
Game. No, it's not.
No, they're gone.
Trevor Lawrence has been looking pretty good recently as well. Yeah.
Young goat.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Predictions, we're getting kicked out of the studio, I think.
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm actually going to say you boys aren't too far off. I don't think the Jags beat us, but I think we win by no more than 6. And get a close one. I think we'll just scrape through.
Yeah, nice.
Which is worrying for the Rams, but I think the Rams by under 7.
Nice.
Then do you know who you have next week? Do you see that?
It's Cardinals, isn't it?
Fuck, you know.
That's going to be like 40.
That's our whole episode next week.
That's rough. That's rough. That's rough. What are you going, Duff?
Round us out, Duff.
Hot take. I'll go NBA since you two go on NFL.
Yeah.
I'll go Aussies to dominate. I'll go Josh Giddey, 2 double-doubles in the next week.
Nice.
I'll go Patty Mills, 2 20-plus games in the next week.
That's what hot takes, fucking hell.
Who else? Matisse Tybalt, he's Aussie, right?
Yeah.
What's he good at? What does he do? Is he a shooter?
Yeah.
He's
a mad defender.
Yeah. Oh, actually, okay, I'll go 5 steals across the next week for Matisse Tybalt. And then
Still going, holy shit.
Joe Ingles, to make 10 3-points in the next week.
Okay. If that pulls off, man, I'm going to get you to buy me a lottery ticket.
That's a multi, isn't it? Jesus Christ. That's one of the ones where Tab goes, hey, we can't give you odds on that.
It's going to be hard to keep track of, but I'll figure it out.
I like it. And then just to round us out, we usually talk about Fit of the Week. Going to go a little bit different. As you guys and probably everyone listening knows, Virgil Abloh passed away this week.
So fucking sad, man. He was I fucking love that guy. I was devastated because I was it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I was getting ready for a run and I got a post notification from Virgil on Insta because I'm a fucking fan, and I jump on to have a look and I'm like, holy fuck, this is a death notice.
Yeah.
And so obviously posted by his family, and that guy was an inspiration for a wider community of people, not just within the fashion design and style space, but for a whole community of people, and not just people in minority communities, which I know he's really big on, but I've watched all of his Harvard lectures, all of his university lectures. I workshopped a bunch of stuff because I think he's just a creative brain that you can learn from. So very sad news, only 41 and left behind 2 kids and a wife. So cancer, fucking very hard.
Really similar to Chadwick Boseman in the fact that it wasn't publicised that he was sick. He really fought it just with his inner circle, which is pretty admirable.
It is.
And he had his last Louis Vuitton show, ended up kind of being like a memorial to him. I think it was a day afterwards.
I watched it yesterday. Really fucking cool show.
So yeah, just RIP to one of the greats, and I think he's got the fit of the week.
100%.
And he's responsible for probably...
Fit of infinity.
Yeah.
So no one comes, no one's above Virgil or Abloh, so massive inspiration, very sad news. Live your life. Life is short.
That's it.
Boys, anything to finish us off?
No, I think that's a nice note to leave it on. Yeah,
nice note to leave it on. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching, sharing, following, subscribing. If you haven't done any of that, make sure you do. We obviously really appreciate it. It's kind of Christmas time, isn't it? It's getting close to Christmas time. We're having Christmas brekkie this morning, us lads, and we're going to be sitting down and talking about the future of the show, how we can make it better, how we can bring more to you, and how we can get you guys as fans involved. So thank you so much for being on board with Blokes and Their Balls. We're only going to make this a whole lot better for you in the weeks to come. Peace.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
Go out, do something fun.